Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again with the Mercury News, East Bay Times, Bay Area News Group, here with Mike Lefkow. Mike, we're heading into the 5th week of the high school football season, and this is a game, going into the year that we kind of had circled on the calendar, the one that's going to take place at De La Salle on Friday night, where Bishop Gorman comes in. A pretty rough loss to Mater Dei, 42-0. They did come back and beat a team from Utah last week to go to 1-2 on the season. They're going to be traveling from Las Vegas here to play De La Salle. De La Salle lost to Gorman last year in the desert. Spartans 4-0 after their win over St. Francis on Friday night. What do you think about this one?
Well, I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think it's too close to call. You know how good Gorman is, but yeah, it's going to be a real interesting game, I think.
Right. I mean, this is it's a measuring stick game for De La Salle, obviously, given that Mater Dei's already played Gorman and won by, 6 touchdowns? By
yeah, it was 42-0.
42-0, I believe. So obviously, if you're De La Salle and you know that, the Mater Dei, St. John Bosco, Centennial, whomever storm is looming out there, this is a game that, if De La Salle were to lose or to have a really tight one, then you look at, wow, they're still a ways away from those SoCal powers.
Well, I mean, I think they are a ways away from Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. I'm sorry, but I don't, I still think they're a little bit behind those two schools. I think De La Salle could give Gorman a tough time. I think this is maybe the best defense I've seen them have.
Right.
And I think it's a very good team. And hey, I'll throw it out there. I think De La Salle beats them.
Okay.
Close, but beats them.
Right. Tremendous front seven for De La Salle. And in the back end, I mean, with Shamar Garrett back there, he showed what he could do last week with the 84-yard pick six against St. Francis that really broke the Lancers' spirits there right before halftime. But anyhow, so we'll be at that game. I'll be covering that one. You will be at a game that to me is very intriguing, where Bishop O'Dowd will be traveling back out here to play Monta Vista on Friday night. What do you think? I mean, this game to me, I mean, if Monta Vista wins and then runs the table, except for a loss to De La Salle, 9-1, they're looking like they're going to be right in the mix for the Open Division. If O'Dowd wins and runs the table and goes 9-1 with the only loss to De La Salle, then Napoleon Kaufman will have a case to make for his team to be in the Open Division.
Yeah, I think the winner of this game definitely has a shot at the Open as long as they do run the table after this. Well, in Monta Vista's case, okay, they have De La Salle.
So if a 9-1 Monta Vista right, or a 9-1 O'Dowd. Anyhow, I mean, this is a top 10 matchup, Bay Area News Group rankings. Monta Vista coming in at 8th this week and O'Dowd at 9.
Right, and Monta Vista has a very impressive victory already over Granite Bay. So this is going to be an interesting game, and I think there is a lot at stake, and the Open is definitely right, open for this game.
Exactly. Well, the Open's wide open because, no pun intended, because of the Antioch victory over Clayton Valley that you covered this past weekend, the 1-point win on the black turf at Clayton. Now Antioch on Saturday afternoon goes to Marin Catholic, and another Bay Valley Athletic League team, Liberty, goes up to the North Bay to play Cardinal Newman on Friday night. We were talking about this off camera. These are two games that the Bay Valley teams not only have to win, you would think they would have to win decisively.
I would call both of these trap games. I think that Antioch has to be careful not to have a little bit of a letdown. The players know Marin Catholic is a good team and a team they can't afford a letdown against. But then again, you get so high for that Clayton Valley game last Friday. And Antioch, I think, has a very good chance to beat Marin Catholic. I think they're probably a little bit better team. But again, you have to make sure you don't have a letdown. Liberty, I'm not sure has to worry about a letdown, but Cardinal Newman is a very good football program. Right. And I think for both teams, this game is huge. There's a lot riding on it, and these are games up there that could spell trouble for both teams.
Right. And if you look at comparative scores, I mean, a couple stand out. Marin Catholic losing to McClymonds 26-0, and then Liberty handling McClymonds. I believe that was a week later in convincing fashion. And McClymonds has gone on to lose to Palo Alto since then. This is a game that Antioch, I mean, if it has a close game with Marin or loses that game, then to me, in my eyes, they take a big step back, especially when you got Liberty in their league.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Antioch is going to go into this game as a solid favorite. But, I mean, the game is up there.
It's a trap game, and, we talked to Kevin Macy earlier, at the scrimmage at De La Salle, and he talked about how hot it can get there at Marin Catholic and how rough it was for his team going there.
Well, I don't know how much of a factor that'll be. I mean, Antioch is pretty hot team during the summer. At East County, the cool area does not come over there very often. But they don't play
at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No,
they play night games.
No, and I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like this weekend. So, yeah, Antioch's going to have to be careful, but they should come in as a solid favorite. Liberty should come in as a solid favorite against Cardinal Newman. But, those are both programs that are well coached and capable of pulling an upset if you're not careful.
Right. One league that, we've talked about this off camera that's taken a pretty big step back football-wise. If you look at some of the results this season, or even in the last couple of years, the Mission Valley Athletic League out of the Fremont, Newark, Union City area. But one team that has done very well this season is Moreau Catholic at 4-0. And they're going to be playing their league opener against Ricky Rodriguez's James Logan Colts in Union City. This is a big game for both teams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think this is one of those games, the first game of the season may very well decide that league's championship. I would have to favor Moreau, probably a little bit better team. Logan in its first year under Ricky Rodriguez. But Logan has a lot of good talent, a lot of pretty good personnel. And, you get the right situation. If they keep it close, they could spring the upset.
A couple other games we'll be keeping an eye on. This is kind of the lightest week of the season so far, I would think. Don't you? Looking at the games. We talked about we highlighted the best games, but depth-wise, I didn't see a lot of big games.
Well, in the South Bay, you have the West Catholic League off, so
they're all taking byes.
Right, so that probably eliminates 3 or 4 real good games that you normally have. The East Bay, I think, has got its share of interesting games. One of those interesting games is Freedom traveling to San Ramon Valley on Friday night. San Ramon, with only 1 loss on the year, I believe that was to Monterey Trail. Freedom with 1 loss on the year. Who'd Freedom lose to? They lost to California.
California, okay. So what do you think about this one?
That, to me, is a toss-up. It's hard to call. I think Freedom probably has better talent than San Ramon does, but San Ramon will be at home, and they can be a difficult team to play there.
And didn't San Ramon win its last game over Archbishop Reardon? I believe it was like 59-0.
Yeah, it was
on a Saturday night.
Game,
yes, yeah. Couple of games where these teams should have a decisive advantage. Palo Alto going to Aragon. Palo Alto off to a 3-0 start.
Yeah, they look good. But Aragon, I think, is dangerous. They've not played well up till now.
Hammered by Wilcox, hammered by Aptos.
Okay, and that the Aptos game kind of surprised me, but I think Aragon is one of those teams that is lying in the weeds. You're not sure when they're going to get it together. And, if I'm Palo Alto, I'm a little bit nervous about this one.
Cal Heritage, should Cal be worried?
No. In a word. No, as long as...
that sums it up.
Yeah.
One word, no. One game in the South Bay that we should note, rematch of the Central Coast Section Open Division I championship game last year. Salinas will be traveling to Milpitas. Milpitas with the one hiccup to Dublin. Salinas, I believe, is still winless, surprisingly. So, chance for Milpitas to get back at Salinas after losing to the Cowboys in the section championship game last year.
Yeah, I think this is Milpitas quite comfortably.
Okay. That's a wrap I think. Do we have anything else to add? The newsletter's out.
Newsletter's out. The rankings are out.
The rankings are out. You're on your way to AT&T Park.
I'm on my way to the Giants game.
To cover it, not to go and sit in the stands.
Actually,
and eat hot
first
dogs.
time I've covered the Giants in 16 years.
Woo!
Yeah, it's kind of been a while.
16 years. Let's do the math. 2002?
Well, yeah, during the playoffs, I covered them a little bit.
Yeah.
More sidebar. I haven't covered a game
Wow.
since they were Candlestick.
I did some of the World Series games, but I covered them in 2003. Traveled.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's long,
no, I have
many years ago.
Oh, I was asking people how to get to AT&T. I've always taken Bart.
Wow.
So,
well, good luck, because we're going to need you in Danville on Friday night.
I'm sure I'll be there. The Giants need some luck. They're 0-8.
All right.
September.
Check out our coverage, eastbaytimes.com, mercurynews.com. Follow us on Twitter. Also, sign up for that newsletter. It is free. I know the links are not free, but there's a lot of stuff in the newsletter that if you don't subscribe, although we desperately want you to subscribe so we can keep doing this, there's stuff in the newsletter that you will find insightful, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you don't pay for the subscription.
I think the rankings are worth the price of admission.
Right. Very good. Well, that's a wrap. Have a good week, everyone.